Okay, this is Miss Waits here, and I'm going to be talking to you about customary measurement. I'd like for you to remember that we talked about in class that the customary system, also sometimes known as the standard system, is what we use here in the USA. And so it is not based on the power of 10. And so our measurements are kind of all over the place for our conversions. We talked about the metric system being based on powers of 10, talking about that you're either multiplying or dividing by powers of 10, and the customary system does not quite work that way. For instance, 1 foot equals 12 inches. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. Let me think, one other one. 3 feet equal 1 yard. So those measurements are kind of all over the place. They don't follow a common rule. So we can't do the moving of the decimal because it's not based on powers of 10 like our number system. So we're going to use a method called the tic-tac-toe method. The first thing we need to do with the tic-tac-toe method is we need to understand what operation or what we're doing. If we start with a big unit, okay, and we're going to a small unit, we're going to multiply. If we're going from small to big, we are going to divide. So you might be thinking, what are you talking about? Big to small. So a big unit might be we're going to start with feet and we're going to go to inches because feet are bigger than inches. Okay, let's try another one. What about if we hit the pen? If we start with pounds and we go to tons, pounds are going to be smaller than tons, so we're going to have to divide. We started small and we're going big. I don't know what I just did. Okay, so we're starting small and we're going big. We have to divide. So if we're going big, we're going to small and we're going to multiply. So if we had ounces, for instance, and we were going to pounds, okay, ounces are going to be smaller than pounds. So we're going from small to big, we're going to divide. Okay, so this little measurement chart right here, I need you to memorize, okay? I need you to remember that you're going to start big. If you're going to small, you're going to multiply. If you're going from small to big, you're going to divide. Now, let me show you a little picture that might help you remember that, okay? Think about a ruler, okay? And this ruler is kind of long, okay? And it equals 1 foot, okay? But if I cut that ruler up into inches, okay, it would make, and don't count these exactly because they might not be exactly 12, but it would make 12 inches. So I started with the bigger unit and I'm going to a smaller unit, which is inches. I'm getting more, so I'm multiplying. So when I'm getting more, my number's going bigger, I'm going to multiply just like in regular math. And if I'm starting small, and I want to start with 12, and I want to find out how many feet are in 12, I'm going to say 1 whole foot. I'm going to divide because I'm getting a smaller number. Okay, so let's check this out. All right, we're going to use the tic-tac-toe method, and it looks like this, a tic-tac-toe board. All right, so here's how you label it. This is your original label. So what you're starting with in the problem, what they tell you. This right here is going to be your operation. And let me just even keep it more simple than that. This is either going to be your multiply or your divide. One of those two things is going to go there. This is going to be your new label. Okay? So where you're going to. And then this section right here is going to be your rule. Here is going to be your problem. The rule you're going to get from your math chart, okay? This you're going to set up from your word problem, and these are going to be the numbers in your word problem. The actual math is going to be right down here. Okay, so let's try this. All right, here's my tic-tac-toe, and my problem says I have 3 feet, and I want to know how many inches that is, okay? So I'm starting with feet, and I'm going to inches, okay? A foot is bigger than an inch, so I'm going big to small, and when I go big to small, I'm going to multiply, okay? Now I'm going to look at my math chart, and I'm going to find the rule for feet to inches. My math chart tells me that 1 foot equals 12 inches, okay? So this little number sentence right here has to work. What can I multiply 1 by to get it to be 12? Obviously 12, right? So my rule is I'm going to say 1 foot times 12 gives me 12 inches. That has to work right there. 1 times 12, does it equal 12? Yes. So the problem has to work for it to be set up correctly. Okay, next, now I'm going to put in the problem that I'm trying to solve, which was 3 feet equals how many inches? Okay, so I'm going to bring down my process, which is 12, and now I'm just going to solve 3 times 12, which is 36. There's my answer. So you might say, well, Miss Waits, I kind of could have done that in my head, 3 times 12. Yes, you could have for this problem, and I started easy on purpose so that you understand the process so that when you get to more complicated problems, it'll be a little bit easier. All right, let's try another one. Let's make it a little bit more complicated this time. All right, so trying to still keep it familiar, let's go from feet to inches again. Okay, feet to inches. A foot is bigger than an inch. Agree? So we're going to multiply. Okay, we're going to use the same rule that we got from our math chart that said 1 foot equals 12 inches, and we're going to multiply by 12, checking to make sure that 1 times 12 equals 12. Okay, our rule is good. Now, this time we have 3.5 feet times 12. Okay, I see an error I just did. Let me erase that. Okay, quick fix. All right, so now I need to do 3.5 times 12. Well, I know 3 times 12 was 36. So now I need to solve a half times 12. So what's a little bit easier than multiplying by a fraction? Well, probably multiplying by a decimal. So if you multiply by a decimal, you're multiplying by 0.5. So let me go over to the next screen for more room. I can multiply 12 times 3.5 and still be solving the same problem. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more up here is 6. Mark that out because I'm done. Mark this out because I'm done and bring down my 0. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is, how about 3? And I'm going to add these up. 12, 1 more, bring down. All right, and I have 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. And so 42, let me undo that. I keep hitting the wrong button. 42.0 is the same thing as 42. 42, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, inches. There's your answer. So if you're multiplying by 3.5 and you multiply by 3.5, you're essentially doing the same thing. Let's try one more before I let you go. Okay, next one. This time we are going to go from ounces to pounds. Okay? Now an ounce is smaller. Okay, we're starting small over here and we're going big. So if we're going small to big, we're going to divide. Okay? Now I'm going to look at my chart and I'm going to ask myself, what is the rule? Well, my rule on my chart says 1 pound, notice where I'm putting the 1, equals 16 ounces. Okay? Now I've got to make a problem in here that equals 1. So what can I divide 16 by that will equal 1? Well, any number divided by itself equals 1. So I'm just dividing by 16. So notice in this little box right here, I'm just multiplying or dividing by the number that is not 1. Okay, now my problem said I wanted to know how many pounds is 32 ounces. Okay, well, this is ounces down here, and you don't have to label it there. But I'm going to divide by 16, and if you stopped and did this and did 32 divided by 16, you would get 2 pounds. Now don't forget this part right here. That's really important. That's your label. And so it's important that you label everything in measurement, so you know what you're talking about, because 2 pounds is way different than 2 ounces. Okay, I hope this tic-tac-toe method little tutorial helped you out, and I hope you watch it again. See you soon.